Joining us now is Pastor Monty Leavell from First United Methodist Church. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you again. You are always so proper. You take the hat off and
Thank you.
be very respectful. It kind of reminds me there was a coach in the National Football League back in the day, Bum Phillips. I don't know where he got the name Bum. Maybe he was. I don't know. But he had a cowboy hat. But if he was indoors, the Houston Astrodome or the Superdome in New Orleans, he would respectfully not wear the hat.
That's right.
Even though it was a part of his persona, and you look on the sideline, you expect to see him in the hat. But if he was indoors, the hat came off. So
that's right. That's the way you're supposed to do it. Or that's the way I was raised to do it.
I was going to say, where were you raised? Were you raised in New Mexico or Texas?
Texaco.
Texaco, okay. Not too far from here.
No, it's not. So my folks are still up there, and my sister is right across the tracks in Texas at Farwell, and so get up there every once in a while.
Yeah, ranching family?
No, my dad worked in a feedlot. My mom worked in the school system as administrative assistant there. So, but we lived just right outside the city limits, and we had horses and raised sheep and show pigs and had steers and cattle. So, I was involved in that growing up.
Around animals.
Yes.
And
yep.
Do you still have animals? You still ride horses?
I get to ride every once in a while. Get to go out and help a church member brand or ship cattle in the fall, and so I enjoy it. It's good to get out.
Yeah, you can't have too many animals in town, though.
No, they probably wouldn't. They would probably frown on that. Some neighbors as well.
That's right. I know you want to talk about upcoming Easter and Easter services, yes, and share a little bit about what is planned at First United Methodist Church for that. So,
okay. Well, first, just thanks for having me on this morning. It's always good to be here in the studio. And this coming Sunday is Palm/Passion Sunday, and it begins the beginning of Holy Week. And so it's always a special Sunday. Our children are going to come in waving the palm branches, and they're singing this Sunday morning as well. We've got 2 children's choirs, and they will be opening our service, and then coming in later as the praise team leads us, they will be waving the palm branches, coming in and celebrating the reminder of the triumphal entry. And we will focus on that this Sunday, as well as starting to focus on Jesus' death on the cross for our salvation. And then those services 10:15 this Sunday, and then on Thursday, the 14th, we will have a Holy Thursday or Maundy Thursday service. It's always a very special service as well. That service will begin at 7 o'clock. Part of what we do in that service is it's very, very informal. I guess in some ways most of our services are pretty informal these days, but it's just really laid back. We're going to spend some time worshiping, and then we read through the Passion narrative. As we do that, we extinguish a candle after each reading, and the sanctuary, the lights in the sanctuary gradually get darker. So when we finish that service, we end at the crucifixion and the burial of Christ as the last scripture reading. And then it's total dark in the sanctuary. And recently I was visiting with some people as I was trying to, plan this service, and they said, "Oh, that's one of our favorite services." And I said, "Well, tell me why it's one of your favorite services." And they said, "Well, it's so relaxing in some ways and reflective, and it just really prepares us then for Good Friday and then coming back on Easter Sunday to celebrate the resurrection." And I really feel like that if we don't spend time, focusing on Jesus' death, then we're really not prepared to truly celebrate on Easter Sunday and celebrate the resurrection, because you've got to go through that darkness and focus on that, and then come back on Easter Sunday to celebrate the resurrection. Excuse me. We've also got a sunrise service at 6:15 at Woodbine, and we started doing that several years ago. And people said, "Well, why are you doing a sunrise service at Woodbine?" I said, "Well, very early on the first day of the week, the women went to the tomb. So that's just a good place, I think, to start off Easter Sunday." Sunrise services are always my favorite. Just love sunrises, just being out on the ranch, and just the beauty that we get from those here in New Mexico, and just to be in a cemetery and think, this is where that resurrection started. So
yeah, is this the first year since the COVID pandemic began that you're able to have these types of services in the church with everybody invited? Because I know the last couple of years with, matter of fact, it made me so mad. Our wonderful governor, the first Easter Sunday weekend of the pandemic,
right,
activated the emergency alert system, which all radio and TV stations and cable systems have. And normally it is used to let us know about severe thunderstorms or tornadoes or blizzards or, local emergencies like that. Used that system to tell people, don't go to church that first Easter Sunday of the pandemic. I couldn't do anything about it. It's all automatic. I heard it when it went out over the air, and it made me so angry that the system would be used for that purpose. But since then, things have slowly been getting back to normal. So I guess in a way there's some similarities to the story of what we as a community have gone through the last couple of years, and then what you'll be talking about in the services.
Yeah, and especially in 2020, and then even last year. I mean, that was definitely part of the message that that we proclaimed. I mean, the resurrection. I mean, it's what gives us hope. In the midst of whatever we're facing. And Good Friday. I mean, that reveals the darkness. It reveals the sin that's in our world, and so there were definitely some preaching points, that we used, during that time. It was definitely not anything any of us wanted to go through, but we all go through, wildernesses, but God's always, He promises to be with us in the darkness and in the wilderness. And that is, that in life and death and life beyond death, God is with us. And that's the hope that we have and proclaim, even on, Good Friday. I mean, it's good. It's a dark day, but it's good because of what Jesus did for us. And so, there is that hope that we have.
Yeah, so we want to encourage people to attend if they at all possibly can.
Absolutely.
It's a big day. So.
Yes, it is. And you asked earlier, is this the first time back? No, we were there in the building last year. 2020, we weren't able to do anything last year. I mean, we didn't have the numbers that we had previously, but it was probably one of our, from where we started, 2021, it was definitely one of our bigger services. And we're gradually, picking back up in attendance, and we're, happy for that and seeing new people come in. And so it's tough in lots of ways, but it's also exciting.
Yeah. So let's remind everybody then the days and the times.
Okay. So this Sunday, 10:15, worship at First United Methodist Church, Palm/Passion Sunday. Thursday, the 14th, we will have a Holy Thursday, Monty Thursday service at 7:00 p.m. Easter sunrise service at Woodbine Cemetery at 6:15. And then Easter Sunday at First United Methodist Church, 10:15.
Okay. One thing I did want to ask you, last Friday, you presided over the memorial service for a longtime church member, longtime school board member,
Yes.
and a citizen of Artesia, Lowell Irby. And I got to sit in the back and and be observe and be a part of that. Lowell is really going to be missed in this community for all the wonderful things that he did. You want to talk a little bit about how important he was at First United Methodist?
Sure. I mean, that it was a. I'll just kind of back up first. I mean, it was, I think, a very meaningful memorial service for him. Mr. Knoll, Mr. Bowman both spoke at that. And, he was just, Mr. Irby was just such a pillar within this community, and in so many different areas. I mean, not just at the pharmacy, not just at the hospital, but he had his finger on just so many different things within this community. I mean, of course, the school for 44 years, and yes, I mean it's a loss to the community, but probably that first or second Sunday, that we had church Sunday and church, and look over there at his pew, and and he wasn't there, and you realize just the void that his death created within our church community, but also within this community. And I mean it's just hard to describe, the influence that man had on so many different areas of this community. And I mean, if you didn't know him, you just went into the pharmacy and saw him, you probably wouldn't have thought that he had that kind of influence on so many people. And so, I think it was a very meaningful service in being able to honor his life.
Yeah, very, very much so, and there were quite a few folks that were there, and
yes.
and glad that they were able to attend. And of course, like typical Artesia, most of the family is still here.
Yes.
They didn't all. Some do, but
yes.
Most of the family is right around here in Artesia. So that's a great opportunity to continue the legacy.
Yes,
so,
yes, it is.
We'll do that. Anything else that's going to be coming up soon at First United Methodist Church? I know we talked about Easter and those services that are this month, but other things that are in the works or plans?
I mean, again, I just would remind our children will be singing this Sunday, children's choir. Of course, coming up summer, I mean, it's a ways away, but it's not in some other ways. I mean, we'll have our youth be going on a mission trip in June. We've got church camps scheduled at Sacramento Camp up in the Sacramento Mountains, and so anybody out there has kids or grandkids that they'd like to send to summer camp, they can get in touch with me at the church, and we would be glad to get you some information on elementary camp, younger elementary kids, youth camps. They've got horse camps up there, family camps. So there's just lots of opportunities there if people are interested in that.
I bet the camps are fun. How primitive is the camp? Is it?
They've got some primitive things there, and some of the buildings are older, but they just finished last year a new dormitory called the Family Life Center, and I mean, it's got very nice rooms compared to some of the others. But it's not the Hilton, but they've got lodging there to kind of wherever you want. I mean, it's some that are just kind of like motel rooms that they're nice, but it's realized it's in the mountains, and then there's some of them that those buildings were built probably in the 50s and 60s, and they're just a little more rustic than
yeah.
That would be probably the key word. But they do, if you want, they could do tent camping. They don't do a lot of that, but I will compliment Sacramento Camp on their camp food is some of the best in the country. It is very good.
Does it rain up there?
Well, it does. I've been up there times where our programs for the week, you just have to totally reschedule the things you were going to do just because there was so much rain. And of course, when you come from Artesia and you go up there, you always hope that it rains.
Exactly.
Last year, I took a group of kids up there for a confirmation retreat, and we went up there on a Friday, and Friday we were, in T-shirts and, just Sunday, and then I woke up the next morning and, there was probably 3 or 4 inches of snow on the ground. So, I mean, but it was beautiful up there.
Of course. So those are some programs coming up that if you've got kids that could benefit from that.
Or adults. I mean, they've got lots of activities for the whole family up there.
Well, that sounds great. I know we like to, from time to time, it'll be, 110 degrees here, and we'll try to figure out a way to wander up to the mountains of Cloudcroft or Ruidoso just to get out of the heat in the summertime.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to know that it's there. But I don't know that people want to plan on camping in the middle of winter in the mountains,
No.
It's probably not the most desirable time to do that. But
they'll do it if they're honeyed.
That's right. If they're of course. Yeah. They'll figure out a way to do that. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us today? Or
enjoyed being here this morning.
Very good. You picked a good day. We actually wound up with some donuts today. So I
saw those out there.
You're welcome, whatever you would like to have. But Pastor Monty Leavell from First United Methodist Church, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Let's have you back again real soon.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot. We're